So I want to continue our talk about coming to Warren's studio and participating and forming the group Emblem.
Right. Okay. Oh, you want me to?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, what it was and stuff. Well, I was living in Fort Greene Projects at the time, you know, and stuff. And I used to go to downtown Fulton Street where Murray Decay and Alan Freed used to have their shows. I forgot the name.
Oh man,
Absolutely.
So, no,
Murray Decay and the Swing Soiree.
Yeah.
Absolutely. At the Brooklyn Fox.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Yeah, so what it was and stuff, how I got really started reading, I was shining shoes. You know, to entertainers' shoes. So then at one point they say, well, can you go to the cleaners and Bridge Street cleaners and get our costumes and stuff.
Right.
I used to do that, and you know, and then I met a guy named Mike Henderson, who used to live in the Farragut Project.
Right.
He was a good friend of Warren's. So one day he says, hey man, you know, and stuff, Warren Studio needs to be fixed up, you know, and stuff. So I said, well, yeah, I can do it. I never plastered or painted in my life. so I gets up there and stuff, and looks around, and Warren was playing the drums or something, you know, I think vibes it was.
Yeah.
So I come in and automatically it hit me, boom. You know, I said, this is where I'm supposed to be. You know? So I remember telling Warren, hey man, you got to leave because I got to work and stuff. He said, this is my studio. So from there, you know, like he said and stuff, you know, cats was coming up, you know, rehearsing. I had their records and albums and stuff, you know, but I never really met them in person.
Right.
So they used to come up, you know, and you know, I listened to different music and you know, learn how to set up the drums for the rehearsals for the different individuals. And stuff, you know, and then came Max Roach, you know, and you know, and so like Warren said, well, let's start doing something. So at that time, I believe we were the first Loft Jazz people to create the Loft Jazz scene before the rest of the cats. You know, and stuff.
I just had a quick question for you, if I may. Is your appreciation of the music while it's being made, while it's being prepared, while it's being rehearsed, do you find that the same appreciation as I do, that in a lot of ways, I appreciate watching what goes on behind the scenes as much as I see when they finally finish the product and they perform on stage. I was wondering if you got that same feeling.
Yeah, but see, I always maintain being a consumer and a person that's out there in the audience. Stuff, you know, and then I can really feel and see what's really is about more so than being behind stage or on the stage.
You know. But I mean, in the process of the music being made, like being in Warren's studio when they're rehearsing the tunes that are going to be performed, do you get that same appreciation of when you finally see the finished product? It says, wow, you know, I was there when this music was made. I was wondering, do you reflect on the music like that at all?
No, I don't really think so. I mean, I enjoyed it and stuff, but I didn't really look at it as that. You know, and stuff. It's like, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but you know, it was something there that you know inspired me to keep going.
Exactly.
And stuff. But you know, I didn't really, you know, look at but by hearing the things being put together, the finished product and stuff, it was, you know, because I seen it being and heard the mistakes and the arguments and, you know, let's do it this way. So when the finished product came out and stuff, you know, I usually look at it as, well, it's good for the consumer.
Right, I understand. Now, how long have you been with Warren?
since 67, 8.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Let's see, I was teaching junior high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out in Brooklyn, and he came into that school, and
Yeah.
the first time he came over to the studio, he just locked it in, you know. And Anton was really the reason why we started having concerts, because he would see people like neighbors coming in and listening to all these different musicians and whatnot. I said, man, we ought to do a program. And it just,
Yeah.
it was actually the start of, like you said, that loft scene. Because
Yeah.
other people had these rehearsal spaces. Sam Rivers had one,
Mhm.
and a whole bunch of other people, you know. And we formed kind of like a coalition. In fact, one year, we scared the hell out of George Wein.
Right.
Because we decided to put on a show, because he would never invite all of the, you know, like what we call the outside exploring musicians into that. So we put on our own show, and George Wein got nervous. So the next year he started inviting all the, you know, all the contemporary guys, and that opened up the whole thing.
Yeah.
We had people coming from all over the world.
Oh, yeah.
And we used to have pillows on the floor, and they sit
Yeah.
on the fire escape, you know.
So these are these lofts and these spaces around New York City. These are the incubators for all this what they would call free music and free experimental music. And what was that like for you being in that environment? Because this was like in hip hop, this would be the cipher.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, it was exactly like that development. But see, what was happening was that those of us who were playing that kind of music weren't getting any attention from the public.
Yeah.
You know, and somebody like Anton comes along and says, well, if we invite a few people to do this and do that, then we can start, you know. And so what happened was the whole loft scene opened up like that.
Yeah.
Because when we started doing it, then the other guys that had lofts, and a few women that had lofts, and what was that girl's name?
Kobe Narita.
Kobe Narita.
Yeah.
She did a whole thing, you know, and each of us had series. I got a poster on my wall at home that we did a counter festival to George Wein's to the Newport Festival, because he's coming from Newport, you know, up near Boston.
Yeah.
And opens that up in New York, and still wasn't inviting the contemporary people. You know?
Yeah.
So we forced him to start employing those people, because he saw what we drew, and it was competition for him, so he had to join the bandwagon.
You know, that's interesting because you turn these spaces into performance spaces.
Exactly.
And you were responsible for that.
Right.
And I want you to talk about that experience. What brought to mind that you had the vision to see the opportunity for this to happen?
Well, listening to the people that was coming up there and stuff to rehearse,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and stuff, and you know, and I looked at it and I said, well, wow, you know, this, you know, so I talked to them and stuff, you know, how about doing something up here? They said, yeah, you know, and stuff, so I give them, you know, the weekend or whatever, you know, and, you know, then it could caught on where people, let's say on the next level, you know, because we were dealing with the, you
It was
know,
like a 5-floor.
right.
In the building.
Brownstone.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, they, you know, say, well, you know, hey man, we heard about Studio Wits and stuff. I got a group and stuff, and I have a tape here, and I look at them and say, man, I don't want no tape.
You right?
You know, you want to play.
Come on, play.
Come on and play.
Exactly.
You know, and stuff. And then if, you know, not being, what do you call it, but sometimes cats will come up there and I say, well, no, this don't belong up here.
Right,
You know,
right,
stuff,
right.
you know.
Because you had that sense of
Yeah.
the creativity
Right.
that you were trying to establish.
Right. You know.
Incredible.
You know, so that's how, you know, and then you have people like Anthony Davis and different, you know.
I'm trying to think the cat that came up there and climbed out of the box.
Oh,
John, was his name John Zorn?
I think it was John Zorn and stuff, but there was one thing
Yeah.
that was going on, and I was the only one there, you know, and the place was packed.
Yeah.
And they brought in this coffin, We had a little lighting system,
Right.
so I turned the lights down and the lights be on the coffin. The coffin would open up, the white glove would come out, and there was two like black balls, one white and one black.
Incredible.
And every time the black ball would get near the white ball would push away.
Wow.
I said, whoa, this is some out stuff.
Exactly.
This ain't happening no more, So I proceeded to start drinking the wine.
So Warren, talk about some of the musicians that participated in this loft scene.
Man, we had a list of cats trying to get in there.
Wow.
I couldn't do it every time I had to organize it and program it, so we still had a chance to play.
Yeah.
But it just caught on. And then Sam Rivers had a studio like that.
Well, he used to come up too before he started his.
Yeah, that's right. Before he started.
Most of the cats that had lofts and stuff, they was basically, it was like a living space and personal for them.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they used to come up to us to rehearse and everything.
Yeah.
And stuff, because then at some point there was what do you call it, thing where you couldn't be too loud.